What it do, what it do, how y'all feeling? Welcome to Ash Neil's Radio. I am your host, Ash Neil. That is I. So, we talking to y'all. Yes, this is going to be the story of Caysen Allison. He is a white boy that was charged with, I guess, murder, pleading self-defense, of a Hispanic kid back in 2022. It's a while ago. And he has been at home on bail this whole time. And nobody's talking about it. Nope. And I think there's a good reason on why they're not talking about it. But yes, this story is getting a little crazy. He had court, ironically, the other day. And there was some new information that came out. Sounds like the defense is claiming self-defense.
Emotions in the courtroom as the trial against Caysen Allison continues.
Two more witnesses were sworn in and a spectator was excused from the courtroom after an outburst.
News 10's Madison Herber joins us live now. Madison, how did day 4 unfold?
Good evening, Lauren and Gordon. The friend of Caysen Allison who was in the bathroom with him the day the fight broke out, Chris Biddle, and a medical examiner who performed the autopsy.
Hold on. Wait a minute. What did she say? Bring that back.
Good evening, Lauren and Gordon. The friend of Caysen Allison who was in the bathroom with him
the friend of Caysen Allison who was with him has something to say. Now, if you haven't been following this story, I have a little bit, not much, because they didn't want us to know about it. But they said that, he's claiming self-defense because he was in the bathroom by himself with 5 Mexicans. But he had a friend, according to this lady. Shit. All right, let's hear it.
Day the fight broke out, Chris Biddle and a medical examiner who performed the autopsy on Joe Ramirez testified today. But first, cross-examination continued on Ramirez's stepbrother, Josh Rios. The defense asked Rios about getting to school on the day of May 3rd, 2022. Rios told the court that a friend brought him, but video from the school parking lot showed Rios arriving to school in the driver's seat. Rios said Ramirez told him that he had a fight with Allison in the parking lot that morning. However, the footage shows no fight happened. It shows Allison walking in front of Rios's car and then walking toward the school entrance. At this point, less than an hour in, there was a misunderstanding between the defense and witness after a mumbled response from the witness was translated incorrectly by the defense during questioning. This led to an outburst in the gallery where a man near the back of the courtroom yelled, trying to correct the attorney, and everyone's head turned towards the commotion.
Notice something. This is a story about Caysen Allison, the little kid, the little white kid that stabbed that kid. I think his name is Jose Ramirez or something. Don't let me lie to you. I get it. But let's see, because they haven't so far. We are 1 minute and 22 seconds in. Let's see if they show the mugshot of little old Caysen.
Immediately, that man stood up and said, quote, "I'll step out. This man's ignorant," referring to Allison's lawyer. Later in the morning, the defense tried to submit evidence of a photo posted to Snapchat. It was a mugshot of Ramirez after being arrested for assault.
Wow. Why are you trying to disparage the dead? You're going to show a mugshot of Ramirez, the kid that got stabbed to death, of a fight he had, assault he had? And the judge said that's not relevant? See? Mind you, and the news decide to share that information while they're refusing to show us the kid's mugshot. Keep that in mind.
The judge ruled the evidence not relevant.
Nope.
Since the photo couldn't be revealed, the defense asked Rios if he knew Ramirez had been arrested for assault and if he knew why. Rios said he knew and that Ramirez had gotten into a fight when he was 18 with someone who was 17.
Wait a minute. This kid lost his life, gets stabbed, and you guys want to know about a fight he had with a 17-year-old prior to that? Because it was a mugshot? Damn. The way y'all peddle for y'all murderers, alleged, because still going on, it's crazy. I still haven't seen this picture.
When asked to recall those moments in the bathroom again, the defense asked, "You can't say Caysen had no reason to be afraid." To which Rios replied, "I do not believe he was afraid. He could have left the bathroom when he saw us."
Now, this witness for the kid that lost his life said he didn't think that Caysen feared for his life, right? That sound like y'all. Caysen, which nobody can say if he feared for his life or not. Only Caysen can. That's his defense. He feared for his life. So the witness said, well, why didn't he just leave? That's what a lot of people are saying about Carmelo. But that didn't happen, right? This case is going to be a real life deciding factor, because we are 3 years in? Because this happened in 2022. This case should come to its conclusion as Carmelo case is getting started. We are going to be able to see how this plays out, because they were the same age at the time, because he's 22 now. At the time, he was like 18. Caysen was 18, 17, turning 18. There's no rally behind it. Nobody said lock him back up. None of that. He's just out on bail, going to trial for the last 2-3 years, and the news will not show his mugshot.
If he was afraid. Rios doubled down on his testimony from yesterday, saying they weren't in the bathroom to fight. It was a pit stop they made some days between classes. The defense came back with, "You didn't try to stop Joe when the fight started?" Rios replied with, "No, sir." Now, after lunch, the court brought in the medical examiner from the Dallas County Forensic Science Office, Dr. Grant Hendon, where he revealed photos taken during that autopsy of Ramirez. Now, the photos showed 4 stab wounds. These images had all of Ramirez's family and friends in tears and covering their eyes. The first one described was the one that eventually killed Ramirez, as the knife caused damage to his left lung, heart, and injury to his coronary artery, which is responsible for blood flow.
Mind you, I don't hear none of you motherfuckers saying, why did Caysen bring a knife to school? None of y'all. Also, Caysen stabbed this man 4 times. He had 4 wounds shown. 4 times. He was over there stabbing this boy. In Carmelo's case, it was 1 stop the threat to the chest. Now that's key. That 1 shot is key, because it will show, and these 4 stab wounds, those 2 things are key, because it shows malice intent. If you're trying to defend yourself, you are only allowed to stop the threat. That's all you are allowed to do. You can try to make the case that the threat wasn't stopped in the first stabbing or the second, but you're only allowed to make the threat stop. If somebody jumps on your back and you flip them over and they fall, and you hit them, you may be getting out for or found not guilty under self-defense, right? If that person dies, right, after you hit them, right, it can be deemed as self-defense. Understand your ground, right? If that person dies after jumping on your back and you throw him to the ground and you hit him 1, 2, and even maybe a 3rd time and he dies, those other 2 strikes after the first one will be looked at as malice intent. It is no longer self-defense. Now you are the aggressor. So, in the case of Carmelo, with that 1 stab, that can be key. Caysen, he was just stabbing that baby.
The second wound was also in the area of the lungs. The third wound were actually two wounds connected, meaning the tip of the knife entered in one place and exited in a different place. This wound was on Ramirez's buttocks. The fourth stab wound was on the back of his left forearm. However, the order in which these wounds were obtained cannot be proven by this report, which prompted the defense to ask if that also means that the aggressor in the situation cannot be proved from this report. Dr. Hendon agreed.
Think about that. The aggressor I just said it. The aggressor could not be determined. After that first strike, after stabbing him once, right? You can make the case. There's 4 or 5 people in the bathroom with you and your other friend, because that's what was stated. You can have a case or make the case for self-defense. But if you stabbed them more than one time, like they said, it's going to be hard to make the case. Now, let's see if they show little Caysen's face.
Agreed. Now, close friend of Allison's, Chris Biddle, he was sworn in with just about an hour left in the day, and so he is going to be back on Monday because the court is going to be closed tomorrow for Good Friday.
Right.
They'll pick things back up on Monday, where they will continue the cross-examination of Biddle, and they will also be revealing some text messages between Biddle and Allison that were admitted into evidence today after the court.
Some evidence between Chris, which is Allison's friend. They had some text messages going on earlier that day when, I think his name is Jose Ramirez. Please forgive me. When he stabbed that kid. Now.
After the jury had been dismissed. I'm reporting live in Belton, Madison Herbert, KWTX News 10.
No mugshot. Why not? Why we can't see his face? And that's what we're saying. They don't want to demonize these people. They would bend backwards, turn themselves into a pretzel, change the narrative, just to keep this little boy Caysen from looking like a demon. I'm saying it. These are words used for Carmelo. Demon, thug, gangster. He should be in jail. Mind you, Carmelo's mugshot has been blasted everywhere. Bruh. But we didn't even see Caysen's mugshot on this one. So there was another news interview, right? Another little news segment that went over this situation. And they had a similar take about the previous criminal history of the deceased.
Joe Ramirez returned to the stand today in the murder trial against Caysen Allison.
Allison is accused of stabbing and killing Joe Ramirez in a Belton High bathroom in 2022. 6 News reporter Sydney Walker has been in court all week. Sydney, what did you learn today?
Ramirez's brother returned to the stand today along with 2 others. Emotions ran high today, with one member in the gallery removed from the gallery after he yelled out at the defense, calling him ignorant, and was escorted out of the courtroom. Ramirez's brother plus a medical examiner and
there's the mugshot. Watch how fast this shit goes away.
Close friend of Caysen were on the stand.
Done. That's it. That's all we get, right? Hold on. Let her continue.
Today we learned Joe Ramirez had been previously arrested for assault when he was 18 and the victim was 17.
There you go. And that's how they do it. Joe Ramirez was convicted of assault. Joe Ramirez is the one that passed away. He was the one that died. They got stabbed by Caysen. But they want to bring up his criminal history. That's what we're saying. It's disgusting. We get no kind of fucking credit. Not a fair trial, not even in our death. Would y'all give a fuck? And this case is going on, so why are we bringing up Joe Ramirez, that's his name. Why are we bringing up his criminal history? Think about that. There's a reason. It's framing. They do it on purpose. That's what's going on right now. in the Carmelo case, where you have a number of people that wish they had something to say about Carmelo's past, but they don't. They don't have nothing to say. So instead, they talk about his representatives' past.
This Carmelo Anthony case is extremely disturbing. I outlaid a bit of the facts before we went to break. But what's happening now is this is weirdly breaking down along racial lines because Carmelo is black. The kid he killed was white, Austin Metcalf. Austin Metcalf, 17, perfect GPA, being recruited to play in various schools for college, like a football star, MVP. Carmelo Anthony also said to be a good student and possibly also getting recruited to play.
See how they do that? Austin, great GPA, outstanding student, football star prospect. Carmelo, I think he was possibly a prospect and a good student, possibly. I think so. I don't. You guys are the reason for this racial divide. Megan, it's pieces of shit like you.
In college and I think football. And he shows up at this track meet and apparently decides to sit in Austin Metcalf's.
He didn't just show up. You're lying. Megan, you're lying again. We are 2 weeks in. He was on the roster to be there. Megan, just say it. He was supposed to be there, Megan.
Like area, I guess they sit by teams. And I don't know if they were playing on rival teams, but Austin and Carmelo did not go to the same school. And so I'm not sure if he was trying to provoke a fight or something, but he decided to go sit.
No, you can't say that. That's information that you are offering to the case that nobody claimed. Just a whole bunch of you dumbasses that are anti-black. That's what I'm calling it. I'm not going to call y'all racist because then y'all going to be like, I'm not racist. Hey, then you're anti-black. For real, for real.
In the tent that Austin and his twin brother and their team, like supporting friends, were under, Austin Metcalf reportedly, this is from the police report, and
I heard that Carmelo was sitting under the tent with his friends that went to that school. So what the fuck are you talking about? Go ahead.
This is cited therein, told him to leave, to get out of Austin's seat. And he turned to him and said something to the effect of, make me, or said like, if you lay hands on me, see what happens, something like that. And
right.
As he was doing it, he was reaching into a bag, and Austin Metcalf did put hands on him and tried to make him.
Why? You bastards would never say that. Say why. Why would you touch somebody? It's crazy.
Get out of the seat, and he stabbed him through the heart with a knife that he had in that bag. It's absolute. It's just a depraved act. It's a depraved act. I don't know what's wrong with the family he grew up in or with him.
Huh.
His mother was there yesterday. And interestingly,
think about that. I don't know what's wrong with the family or how he grew up. Why she gonna admit that they claim to be a loving family, but why do y'all bring that up? Nobody's bringing up the fact that Jeff Metcalf, Austin's dad, and his wife are separated. Megan won't even say it. Could that broken home contributed to Austin's actions? Austin and his brother Hunter's actions. Because we heard what the mom said. The mom said the argument that my son Carmelo had with the Metcalf boys, implying that both boys were involved, in my opinion, then we don't want to hear you try to disparage this family and how they raised a child if you don't want to talk about the broken home of the Metcalf family.
Was saying that this is a close family, that it's a two-parent family, that it's
Right.
a God-fearing family.
Right.
Claiming he's a good boy.
Claiming.
I don't know. I saw pictures of him online with the gun and middle finger and trying to look like a badass.
Saw the same kind of pictures of Austin. Think about that. She won't say it.
As kind of tough guy. So I'm not sure what this guy was going through, but there's no mystery who did this. It was him. So they hold this presser, and first of all, Maureen, they hire this guy who he's not their lawyer, as near as I can understand. There's a different guy who's a lawyer. He's a minister, quote unquote, I'm using that term generously, who's had a.
What? Why the quote unquote? Why the quote? Mind you, We know who they're talking about, right? It's that the guy Dominique Alexander. He is the founder of the Next Generation Action movement. They're going to go into this smear of this guy just because he is there, not as his lawyer, but just to make sure Carmelo get a fair trial. This piece of shit don't even realize how important his foundation is to this case. The irony of Megyn Kelly, all of the news media, the right-wing YouTube channels, they are all trying their hardest to smear this family, trying to keep him from receiving a bail, receiving a fair trial, and this guy that decided to step in, knowing all that was going to happen, they attack him too. Oh.
Long list of trouble with the law in his own right, including the fact that we read this in AM Update, but he was convicted of causing serious bodily injury to a 2-year-old child. It was his girlfriend's son he was babysitting.
Okay, that's sad, right? It's abhorrent. Fuck. Damn, Nick, what happened, right? Is everything okay? I mean, maybe not. You know, this is I don't know if the baby passed, forgive me. But if the baby did, we have a lot of cases of SIDS where sudden infant death is a thing. Am I saying that's what happened in his case? I don't know. No. He was charged and convicted with inflicting pain to a 2-year-old. Okay, that's fucking crazy. Does that mean he can't represent the Carmelo family? It's like they wish they had dirt on Carmelo, but they don't. So they were scrambling, and something came up. Ah! Look what Dominique did.
He called the girlfriend at 11 p.m. This is the spokesperson for the family. Called the girlfriend at 11 p.m., told her to get home now, didn't tell her why. When she arrived, her child was unresponsive. He told the girlfriend he'd been watching a movie and her son just fell off the couch. He fell off and onto the carpet. But they brought him to the doctor, to the emergency room. He wound up going to the ICU. The doctor said these are lies, that the son had a subdural hemorrhage between the two halves of his brain at the back of the brain. He also had retinal hemorrhages in both eyes. Quote, the severity of his injuries is not consistent with rolling off the couch, the investigative officer reported the doctor saying. Without more adequate history of trauma, complainant's injuries are more consistent with abusive head trauma and child physical abuse. This guy, again, still on the spokesperson. The prosecutor read two statements from him. Dominique Alexander is his name.
Right.
He signed. The first one, he claimed the child had fallen off the couch. The second, he admitted to shaking the child.
There you go. Dominique admitted to shaking the 2-year-old. Okay. Dominique need to answer for his crimes. Oh, shit. He did? Okay. What the fuck are we talking about? We gonna retry him? Or he just cannot be a part of society no more because of what happened? Mind you, our president has been convicted of a lot of shit. He's running the country.
He was charged with a first-degree felony, and that resulted in a conviction. Then it went on from there. He also faced assault charges against the girlfriend, charged with 1 felony, 1 misdemeanor, after he allegedly shoved and attempted to strangle his girlfriend, who accused him of pushing, choking, and headbutting her during several altercations, like so many women do. She ultimately decided not to testify or participate in the case against him, and therefore it went away. So
that's how she wants to paint the spokesperson of the Anthony family, right? Mind you, he probably wasn't hiding it. You know what I mean? There's probably some public info that he was like, hey, whatever, that happened, it's in my past. Or we can entertain the fact that he started this Next Generation Action Network or group because he didn't get a fair trial. I don't know. I'm not the one to go into it. As Megan decided to pull up his charges from who knows, conveniently, she didn't pull up none of Austin's dad's charges because I heard he was charged with sexual assault. A lot of people keep saying SA. But no, I heard that allegedly Austin Metcalf's dad, Jeff Metcalf, was charged with sexual assault. Hey, Megan, all that digging you did for Dominique, are you going to do it for Jeff? No.
This is the man we're about to listen to, so you know. This is who the family has chosen to represent them, to try to set the record straight on this horrific crime. And he went out there, and the first thing he did was he saw Austin Metcalf's dad, Jeff, had shown up to the presser, whose first reaction after his son was murdered was to say, I forgive him. I forgive the kid who did this. And he went to hear what they had to say at this presser. And here's how Dominique Alexander, the man I just read you about, handled it.
We don't care how you framed him. Don't care. But I will say something about the situation of Jeff Metcalf showing up to the presser. Me, Ash, as an individual, I'm a little different, right? And I can't expect for everybody to be like me. It's okay. But I am the type of person that after the police searched Jeff, made sure Jeff was not a threat, he didn't have a knife on him or a weapon or of any kind, Ash would have invited Jeff on stage and gave him a hug. We would have shared a moment. We would have cried. It would have been, give him at least 20 seconds to talk. We understand. Yes. But there is that other but where we don't know if Jeff is that stable, if Jeff is there for vengeance, if Jeff is a threat. Is Jeff willing to take out someone else in the name of his son's name? So people can't take that chance. So it makes sense that he was escorted out. So for Megan to be like, oh, how dare you? He could have been a threat. We don't know.
What we seen at the beginning of this press conference, the father being at this press conference, is a disrespect to the dignity of his son. That was disrespectful and just shows you all the character who is not invited. He knows that it's inappropriate to be near this family.
Now, he said he knows that it's inappropriate to be near the family. There may be something from the courts that said stay away from each other. It probably wasn't just, isolated to one party, but there's probably some order written from a judge that said he wasn't supposed to do what he did. So I don't know. Maybe not. Don't know. But for him to use those words, if that is the case, if the judge did order both parties to stay away from each other, then Jeff was being disrespectful.
But he did it. And so I say to people, actions speak louder than words. Okay? What he has failed into, is the political operatives that want to make this thing a political thing of hate, yet bigotry, and yet racism. We have conservative operatives that have been posting nonstop.
And he went on to say later.
That's true. Talking about you, Megan. Conservative operatives.
That these political operatives are who led to the father being here. Political operatives motivating this family with hate.
Yep.
And the father was thrown out.
Yep.
The cops had to come.
That's what he's saying. This shit right here, segments like this that you've been doing, Megan, you are bringing that hate into this whole situation. You are the one strumming this shit up, making the father step up. Fuck that. I remember that a lot of people told me I was wrong for even apologizing or forgiving him. So why the hell did I forgive him? That's y'all.
He didn't want to leave. He wanted to hear what they had to say.
Of course he did.
And they threw him out with cops. That's despicable. That man is despicable. And then the family running out there trying to make themselves the victims, which is what they did. The mother got up and gave a big sob story about how hard this has been for her.
Their family has been getting death threats, Megan. I know you can minimize that. As she cried, as Carmelo Anthony's mom cried, the hardest she cried through her whole statement is when she mentioned Austin and what his family could be going through. That's the kind of compassion we have as people. But whatever happened between the boys, Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf and Hunter Metcalf, why does the mom have to fear for her life? She said her 13-year-old daughter can't even sleep in her bed. So yes, Megan, they feel like victims as well. Why do you have that much hating in you? Like, get the fuck out of here. And I think that's why you got divorced or you got cheated on. One or the other. Doesn't matter. But if you want to start talking about people's broken homes, nigga, Megan, there was a reason why that man left you. I don't know if y'all know, but the way Megan had her husband come up or interviewed, she interviewed this nigga to make him tell her how much he enjoyed being with her. No, the nigga cheated on you. So yeah, we can go do that disparaging shit all day. But this story is just getting crazy because we have Matthew Walsh. This piece of shit, obviously, he couldn't be left out. So he had to throw in his anti-Dominique rhetoric. And I'll tell you, the irony of Matt being mad at somebody trying to fight for justice, as he's been the number one component of Carmelo don't need justice. It's funny to me. So let's hear what he got to cry about.
A week after the funeral of 17-year-old high school student Austin Metcalf, which was held in Frisco, Texas, it's now clear how his killer, Carmelo Anthony, is going to defend himself in court. This will not be a trial where the outcome hinges on some disputed fact or on a damning piece of forensic evidence or the use of some clever legal theory. Instead, in the eyes of Carmelo Anthony's legal team, the result of this trial will depend on whether they can seat at least one juror who harbors a deep and abiding resentment towards white people. If they can accomplish that during jury selection, then they're guaranteed a mistrial, and Carmelo Anthony can continue driving around in expensive SUVs and living in rented mansions until prosecutors give up. That's their plan as of right now. There's just no longer any way to deny it.
Now, remember, that has been debunked already. They didn't use the money for that. So they've been living that lifestyle already. And you're just mad at black folks with money.
We're about to witness another trial in this country where, like the Chauvin trial or the OJ trial, no one is even pretending that the facts actually matter. All that matters is race. In fact, this isn't even really comparable to an OJ Simpson situation. It's worse than that. In that case, his supporters could hide behind the fact that he was famous or that the police were supposedly corrupt because of what they did to Rodney King or, that sort of thing.
I had seen a comment when we were bringing up the whole Kyle Rittenhouses and the George Zimmermans of the world and about their bill and support and all of that. Somebody said, you guys are going so far back bringing up George Zimmerman. It's almost like white folks aren't doing that much stuff to you guys. Matt went all the way to OJ and Rodney King. All right.
The prosecution of Carmelo Anthony, in a very straightforward and undiluted way, will determine whether race trumps the rule of law in this country. It will test whether anti-white race hatred is so profound and so pervasive that a black student can stab an unarmed white teenager in the heart during a track meet, run away, ditch the murder weapon, wonder aloud whether his actions could possibly be considered self-defense, and then get away with it.
Mind you, no videos on Matt's show have anything to do with Caysen Allison. So it's all about black crime. Let's not talk about white crime, because in their head, it doesn't exist.
In other words, generations after the civil rights movement, we're about to see whether white teenagers in places like Frisco, Texas, actually have basic civil rights. And if any of that sounds inaccurate or overstated to you, then you didn't watch the press conference that was held yesterday by the family.
Think about that. Let's see if white kids have basic civil rights while he's fighting to not allow Carmelo Anthony due process.
Family of Carmelo Anthony. Now, for background, in case you're not familiar with the details of the case, which we've discussed many times, Anthony was arrested on April 2nd after stabbing and killing another student, Austin Metcalf, at a high school track meet. According to the arrest affidavit, witnesses said that Carmelo Anthony, who is black, was inside a tent that was reserved for a different school. Metcalf, who is white, told Carmelo Anthony to leave. Carmelo Anthony dared Metcalf to touch him and, quote, see what happens. Metcalf touched Carmelo Anthony or his backpack, and then Anthony stabbed Metcalf to death. And when the cops...
Metcalf touched Anthony or his backpack. As if you're erasing evidence that we know. What do you mean, or his backpack? No. He touched Anthony. He did. So you could try to water it down for your viewers, but sorry, Matt, we watching. We watching you.
Showed up. Anthony asked the cops, whether he might have a plausible self-defense claim, which is a very good indication that he doesn't. After Anthony was arrested and charged with murder,
he also asked if he would be okay. He did. That's that black compassion I was talking about.
Metcalf's father, Jeff Metcalf, went on television and announced that he had forgiven Anthony. He pleaded for the public to see Anthony as a child who had made a mistake and to avoid making the killing into a political issue.
Right, and y'all did. And a racial issue. Don't leave out the racial issue, because that's what he said. He said it clear as day. Do not make this a racial issue, and y'all hated him for it. Y'all wanted to hate black folks so bad that Jeff got venom from y'all.
So with that in mind, here's how a barely literate race hustler named Dominique Alexander, who serves as the president of an activist BLM-type nonprofit called the Next Generation Action Network.
Whoa.
Here's how he...
Whoa. Wait a minute. Whoa. In the same sentence, he calls Dominique a race hustler and then calls his organization some new Black Lives Matter shit. Oh, you people are hilarious.
Began the press conference yesterday for Carmelo Anthony's family.
Next Generation Action Network from the beginning has respected the loss of life.
Right.
No matter our opinion of it, we have kept our opinion close. We have not attacked. We have not shared the information that was shared with us about Austin Metcalf, because we respect the dignity of life and loss.
Right.
And all I'm going to say, so it don't be asked later, is that was disrespectful and just shows you all the character who is not invited. He knows that it's inappropriate to be near this family.
This guy is currently apparently the primary representative of Carmelo Anthony and his family, and he doesn't start.
No, he's not. There's a actual lawyer that's representing the case. He's not the primary. He's just making sure the rhetoric from people like you will keep Carmelo from getting a fair trial. That's it.
The press conference by talking about, how Anthony is innocent or how sorry he feels for the family of Austin Metcalf. Instead, Dominic Alexander begins by lecturing Jeff Metcalf, the father of the slain teenager, about how he is disrespectful and how he's supposedly disgracing his son's memory. Yes, Carmelo Anthony's representative personally attacks the father of the boy who Carmelo Anthony killed. I mean, it is one of the most cartoonishly evil and grotesque displays you'll ever see. Watch.
I want to start off this press conference to say something as a deep note that I can tell America. What we've seen at the beginning of this press conference, the father being at this press conference, these are my words, don't quote anybody, is a disrespect to the dignity of his son.
So he says, what we've seen at the beginning of this press conference of the father being at this press conference is a disrespect to the dignity of his son. Close quote. Right. Well, he can barely speak English, even though he's apparently the spokesman for this family. That's your first problem, getting a spokesman who can't speak.
Right. So, there you have it. They don't give a shit about rhetoric. Nope. They don't give a shit about legal proceedings. Nope. They don't give a shit about the Constitution. All they care about is their anti-black rhetoric. That's it. Their hate. Their hate for black people. And for these motherfuckers to just keep on going on with this, his primary representative, they don't really want to talk about who's actually representing the family. This guy is. And it's funny that Megan and Tim, or not Tim, sorry, that was Matthew Walsh, they don't really want to talk about who is actually Carmelo's lawyer.
At the law office of Mike Howard, we are not a one-size-fits-all law firm. We are frankly not for every single person charged with a crime. We tailor our representation to you. Some clients want to fight their case and they want to go all the way. Other clients want to avoid a trial at all costs. As an experienced trial lawyer who's tried cases from the lowest misdemeanors to the highest felonies, I am ready and able to stand by my client and give them the fight that they deserve in trial, to preserve their rights and give them the best possible chance to walk out of that courtroom.
Bam! Or he wouldn't have taken up the case. He can see clear as day that there wasn't going to be a fair trial, that this was self-defense. And he knows the legal system, Megan. So why don't you bring up his actual lawyer and see what you can talk shit about? Because he seemed like he got his head on his shoulders. He's professional. He's actually familiar with these cases. But does he have any baggage? Tell me. Dig him up.
And for clients who don't want that, I know the system and I have relationships with judges, with prosecutors, with court staff that I can leverage to try to get you the best possible outcome. So there's no one-size-fits-all person. There's no cookie-cutter approach. At the Law Office of Mike Howard, we tailor our approach to you.
Alabama. Now, when it comes down to this situation, it is so polarizing. And it's, like I said, it's because of people like Megyn Kelly and Matt Walsh and a lot of others out there. They are making this racial. Even though the dad said the shit about it in the beginning. Oh, please, don't make this about race. They got on his ass. Oh, forget you. Fuck you. We're going to make this about race. That black baby killed your baby. You better get with the program. And he was like, damn. So for him to show up at that presser, just like Dominique said, the media got you doing this because it's true. He wanted to be that forgiving person. And y'all didn't let him. Y'all wanted to stoke fear, stoke division, stoke hate. And that is what brings me to this guy. Oh, my God. Jason Whitlock had a little segment where he was, I guess, going back and forth with a racist about what was supposed to be going on this weekend, today, the 19th. And I guess there's a march or a rally behind the fact that Carmelo Anthony got a bail. Yes, these motherfuckers are so mad that they feel like Carmelo Anthony should still be locked up. No judge should have let him out or reduced his bond. So they're going to rally behind it, and I don't know what they're chanting. I don't know what it is, but it's some probably like, why does he get due process? I don't know. I don't know what it is. But these stupid motherfuckers feel like Carmelo's shouldn't have no rights. Think about this. Think about this. Before I go to this video, mind you, Dominique with the Next Generation Action Group, he is specifically here to make sure that Carmelo get a fair trial, right? And you got people that don't even want him to be bailed out.
Jake, I want to hear your explanation about why you're leading this protest. I think they're saying the video or the audio is fine, but the video cuts in and out a little bit. Jake, why are you leading this protest in Frisco, Texas tomorrow?
Jason, thanks for having me on. You know, normally I'm very jovial when I join your program, just getting out of prison 86 days ago from a presidential pardon. You know, this is a type of thing where justice needs to be served. In this case, we have a killer on the loose, which you have said multiple times here. This man killed Austin Metcalf in cold blood. And there used to be sacred honor amongst men, a time where we could grieve, where the public could gather together and show up and show support for senseless violence. This is senseless violence. And they have stolen that from us. Part of the PSYOP with January.
Mind you, this is a January 6th insurrectionist. And he's talking about senseless violence. Go ahead, my guy. I'm a carpenter, and that fucking shit y'all try to hang Mike Pence on, he probably would have broke it as soon as y'all tried to get him up there. Senseless violence.
January 6th was to try to turn people away from exercising their God-given rights. And that's what we're doing today. We're standing up. I am a white American. I am Jewish by bloodline.
Oh, shit. He's Jewish. Oh, my goodness. Look at him. Oh. This Jewish guy is leading the charge for white folks to say, hey, this black guy does not deserve due process. Now, mind you, think about it. This country just fucking went head over heels signing laws behind anti-Semitism, right? They want to say that anti-Semitism is, I guess, Jew hatred, saying something negative about Jews, something like that. But in the real world, anti-Semitism is anything against Semitic people. Who are the Semitic people? Hell, Google it. It'll tell you straight up. It is the people that spoke the Afro-Asiatic, something like that, Afro-Asiatic languages. And then you look at the region. Who spoke the Afro-Asiatic languages? And it was people from North and East Africa. So, of course, when the slave trade happened and all that shit, you know, we ain't got to go into it. We were stripped of names. We were stripped of languages. We were stripped of any kind of identity. Even, maybe, that Semitic claim. So, it's ironic for people that know the history of Semitic people, for this Jewish guy to come up here and say, this black kid does not deserve due process. As we, and there's a lot of black folks, they were siding with, I guess it looked like they were siding with, because these bills did pass. We signed bills against anti-Semitism. My God.
And Christian by faith. And I understand that my community, there are millions of white Americans out there living in fear every day of being terrorized. Every single day I turn on my X feed and I see hundreds.
Shut the fuck. This nigga said fear. Now read this. Hold on. I didn't get to read this. Hold on. We got to bring this back. This article. What is this article? Protect white Americans. Justice for Austin Metcalf. Demand Carmelo Anthony be put back in prison until trial. Put back in. After bailing out, after getting a bail reduction, after following the legal process, this piece of shit wants him back in. They don't want Carmelo to have due process, hence the reason why the Next Generation Action Network has got involved, and we don't give two fucks about what hating ass people like this Jewish guy has to say.
Your audience, the black conservatives that watch your program, which is an amazing program, have nothing really to do with what we're talking about. But the other, I would say, all of the people who voted for Kamala Harris, which
you heard what he said. Not the coons that watch you, Jason. I know they understand that black folks are bad the way you keep telling them. But the other blacks, these are the motherfuckers we're after.
97% of black women voted for Kamala Harris and over 80% of black men. Those voters, that population, I am addressing those people today. They have ingrained inside their own youth by propping up athletes, ball players, rappers, and other basically people that are living for the moment, not trying to sew in any type of longevity. There is a epidemic of immediate gratification in the black community. No one is willing to go to college, buy businesses, and by and large. And
who? Stop lying. Two things with that. One, why will we when college kids can get their credentials snatched from them for supporting Palestine? It'll be a waste of fucking funds and years. But you're lying. You're lying. This whole DEI shit is because there's too many black folks that are getting the credentials, the education, and the degree to start getting these jobs in corporate America. It has gotten to the point where a bunch of white people have looked around and seen too many black faces. There's been a lot of franchises that were purchased by black folks in the recent years. So what the fuck are you talking about? Nothing.
and build into their community. As soon as one of these rappers or ball players gets any money, they move out of their community and they move into a white community, and they bring this degenerate culture with them. And eventually it is spreading out into the suburbs. It's spreading out into all of America.
Oh, stop, you piece of shit. What ended up happening was racialized property had subjugated a whole bunch of people, a group of people, and allowed funding to go to that group only. But these people who were disparaged, they got no funding. Funding over here, no funding over there, made ghettos. There was a nice little map of the neighborhoods. They had a nice little red marker, and they used to write these nice little red lines just to separate what land or what side of town is going to get funding. That was racist. So when the country got more progressive and they wanted to, I guess, face their racist past and kind of redeem themselves and move further towards, a united nation, they got rid of those racist practices. That's why shit like the Burwood Wall in Detroit allowed black folks on the other side of the wall. Because for a while, black folks in Detroit couldn't even see the properties being built on that other side of the wall. So don't sit there and say that our culture is being infiltrated. No, y'all love us just because. Everybody around the world want to be an African American. Look at them. But what you, I guess, did on purpose, kept people from accessing funds and putting them in an area where they would just have to figure it out for themselves. When they actually figured it out, y'all got scared when we moved on up to the east side.
We are not safe. The white people in America are not safe right now, and we need to address and build with the black community to restore peace and honor amongst the different races in America and return to e pluribus unum, out of many, one.
Jake, you're wearing a cross. You part of your survival in prison was turning to the Bible, and the racial idolatry that you're talking about and limiting, white people. We're being attacked. I'm sitting here as a black man.
Are we not being attacked, Caysen? Are we not being attacked? Do you turn on your X feed every day and see dozens and dozens of videos of white people being attacked by black people? I'm asking you a question.
Show me. Because it's been a while since we had this kind of polarizing situation where Austin Metcalf, a white kid, was killed by a black kid, Carmelo Anthony. This story got so big because of the difference in the race. If it was such an epidemic, I think we all would know, because the media would have been posting all these crimes that you say you wake up and see on X every day. It ain't happening, you fucking liar.
Question. Do you see that or not?
Put Jake on pause. Put Jake on pause.
Put Jake on pause.
Or hold. Jake, I'm not interrupting you. I'm going to let you speak for as long as you want to speak.
Ass on pause.
But I get to talk on this show too.
Yeah.
And so.
Oh, Jason, he's such a bitch. Look at how Jason, this is the fucking venom that Jason have for a known white nationalist. Oh, come on, this is my show too. I get to speak. Jason, that boy be having all kind of fuel for the black community. Oh my God, he would talk so much shit to us. But this known racist is on his show and he's handling him with fucking soft ass kid gloves. Like, pushback? No? Fuck.
Or what you said, there's truth to what you said, but there's also this truth. This black pagan culture that has been adopted among a mass number of black people is killing and destroying far more black people than white people. That does not excuse what is happening to black people. What white people.
I'm not here to address that today. I'm here to stand for my community
I
today.
got it. Put him back on pause. Let me finish my point.
The black on black
point
violence is an epidemic.
Could we mute him for a second?
Black crime is an epidemic.
I'm saying that I'm more likely to be harmed by this pagan culture, far more likely than you. And so when you have a white rally, which is unbiblical, these problems aren't defined this way in the Bible. There's a history of human beings adopting pagan cultures that are self-destructive. And so when you wear the cross and portray yourself as a Christian, but you come up with non-Christian solutions, it's disconcerting to me. And so now I will let you respond to that. Take as much time as you want.
Look at as a secular individual, right? Look at all this Christian on Christian violence. I think we need to get rid of religion.
I haven't offered any solutions here. I have not offered any solutions yet. The solution that we're looking for, the reason why this protest is happening, is we are demanding that the killer, Carmelo Anthony, is put behind bars immediately.
Immediately. Not alleged killer, but the killer, Carmelo Anthony, need to be put behind bars right now. Immediately. No due process for that American citizen. You're Jewish. I don't know if you're Israeli or if you're born out here, but you're Jewish. But we have a process. It's a legal process. And everybody in this country is awarded due process, I think. If not, educate me. Because if there's something that says that he should be locked back up, then maybe you have a point. But if you can sit there and be a overt racism or a overt racist with me, right? Just open it up. Just say it. We don't want this black boy having due process. Just say it. So then we can really clown this march of yours.
Jason, I have a very deep connection to this issue. I spent 1,467 days as a January 6th political prisoner.
Boo-hoo. Hey, you're Jewish. You know how many days some of the Palestinian prisoners that I call hostages on my show have been stuck in the Israeli detention centers? Some of them, actually, I don't think none of them caused an insurrection. I don't think they were trying to hang a vice president. So boo-hoo, motherfucker.
Criminal record. I was never offered bond. I tried 3 times. They never gave me bond. I put up millions of dollars in the household property, in cash value, and I never got bond. I spent 900 days solitary confinement. There is a discrepancy, an unequal application of the law, a selective prosecution happening to white Americans right now.
Yeah.
If the black American community can understand 60, 70 years ago what was happening to them in the down south, where the judges and the juries were being inordinate and being selective and making sure that they had no chance of justice, then you must recognize that same thing is happening to our community.
Nope.
The black young men that are perpetrating violence on white men and white women across this country are in a revolving door of bail.
Shut the fuck up. That is not happening. And the sad part is that Jason would give all that kind of airtime to this kind of racism. It's disgusting. So let's entertain it, because we don't want to be those people. We don't want to be like them, to be like, oh, you just sound stupid. You just sound dumb. I don't know what the fuck he means about all this black crime against white people. Let's figure it out. Because they always say that shit. We need to solve our own black on black crime. But let's see what the FBI says. We have, let's see. 2019. So we'll concede that this is from 2019. So yeah, it's okay. But what does the FBI data show? Now, this is crime in the United States. Okay. Now, arrests by race and ethnicity. 2019. Okay? Okay? This is what you're discussing. Right? So we're going to go into it. This is 2019. It's prior to the pandemic, but it's okay. We can do the same math. Let's see if it's an epidemic like you said. Okay? Okay. So, total arrests, right? These are the total arrests that are in the database for the FBI to look at and come with an assessment of what's going on with the crime in the country, right? So, we have, these are the titles. Listen. Okay, we're going, hey, this is for you too, Matt Walsh. Listen up. All right, total for whites. These are arrests, right? The total arrests for whites in America in 2019 was 4.7 million, right? 4.7 million. The total arrests for black folks, 1.8. 1.8 million arrests in 2019, right? So, Mr. Jewish Klan member, you said that black folks are committing all this crime against white folks. All right, let's see. Let's break these crimes down. So, this says murder and non-negligent manslaughter, right? So, let's see. Black folks account for 4,000, right? These are 4,000 arrests of murder and non-negligent manslaughter, right? White folks, 3,600, 4,000 on the black side, 3,600 on the white side. It's almost the same. These are manslaughter. These are murders. It's almost like we commit the same amount as human beings because humans are killing humans. Not blacks are killing whites and blacks are killing blacks only. No, you just lying. But let's continue. What's the next one? Oh, look at that one. Oh, rape. Oh, the R word. I'm not that guy on my show. I'm not getting no funding and I don't care. I'm not monetized. We're going to say it. Rape. Let's see. Black folks in America there was 4,400 arrests for rapes committed by black folks. There was 11,000. 11,000 arrests of white folks committing rape. You said that black folks is committing all these crimes against white women, right? Wait, hold on. Who else we got up here? Where Hispanics at? Where Hispanics at? Because that's what they've been saying too. Native American, Hawaiian, Hispanic, Latinos. Hold on. Rape. They're raping your women. What? 3,900 cases, arrests. There's 3,900 arrests, which is, that's a lot of motherfuckers getting raped, right? Disgusting. 3,900 for Hispanics, 4,200 for blacks, 11,000 whites are out here raping people, and we have the data to prove it. Let's keep going. Robbery, 29,000 cases for black folks. Okay, that makes sense because there's only 25,000 cases of arrests for white folks. Yeah, we're broke, the poor, the lower class. So I guarantee you that most of these cases are like petty theft, little stuff. But for the well-off community of white people, what are y'all doing? 25,000 robbery cases? Y'all got privilege. Y'all got white privilege. What are you doing robbing people? I don't know. But let's keep going. Aggravated assault. 91,000 black arrests in 2019 for aggravated assault. 169,000 arrests. Huh! White folks, why are you assaulting people? Come on, man. Burglary. Oh my goodness, running into people's houses. Man. 34,000 for blacks. Us. We had 34,000 arrests for burglaries in 2019. White folks had 81,000. So what the fuck are y'all talking about? Look like y'all raping more. Y'all have more assault charges, burglaries. How are we the threat in America? How? Let's keep going. I want to get through this whole fucking list because you motherfuckers, I think, even with Matt Walsh saying what he said about the black community is inherently evil, and Megyn Kelly over here disparaging representatives, and this dumbass Klan member talking about, we need to lock Carmelo back up. He don't deserve due process. It's almost like and he's talking about all this crime against white people and white women. It's like they're trying to create the reason to mobilize the streets with the military just to police black folks. That's what it seems like. They're trying to say, hey, we just made the case for all of this black violence against white folks. When are we going to do something militarily? And that's how martial law will come about. If nobody could debunk it and say, hey, black folks ain't out here like y'all say we are, then yes, the narrative could be fucking strong enough to build the case to start martial law. So we need to point some of this shit out. Larceny, okay, theft. You motherfuckers, think about this, 178,000 arrests for larceny for black folks. 393,000 for white folks. Y'all not doing no crimes out here, huh? Come on, motherfucker. Where we at? Motor vehicle theft. Okay. This is the one they always saying black folks be stealing cars and shit, right? 16,000. There was 16,000 arrests in 2019 for black folks. 38,000 arrests for whites? Y'all were stealing that many cars in 2019? Huh. But where are the bad ones? Gotcha. Well, arson. Let's see who's starting fires. 1,000. 1,500 cases of black folks starting fires. 1,500. There's 4,400 white folks starting fires. No matter what, still more. Violent crime, right? Let's go to Hispanics first. Right. Hispanics, violent crime. 79,000 arrests for white folk, or for Hispanics in 2019. Black folks, 129,000 arrests, right? Mind you, you got 29,000, or you got 79,000 Hispanics, and you got 129,000 blacks arrested for violent crimes. There is 209,000 cases of white folks committing violent crimes. Who are the most violent? Please explain this shit to me. Unless you don't think this is correct, explain it to me. Let's see. Property crime, which that'll make a little bit more sense. 230,000 arrests for black folks and 517,000 for whites. Now, I don't know. Property crime. That's either a lot of Karens out there busting windows of their neighbors mixed with a bunch of girls over here busting their baby daddy window in the car. I don't know. But it's property crimes. White folks is outweighing even there. Other assaults, just random other assaults. 219,000 for black folks, 455,000 for whites. Okay, forgery. Oh, shit. Who is forging and counterfeiting? 9,600 cases of black folks forging documents. 21,000 cases of white folks being arrested for counterfeiting. Fraud. Oh, shit. Fraud. 24,000. Mind you, remember the PPE loans that was going on. Everybody was getting arrested for and getting caught up for the PPE loan. And it was almost looking like a lot of black folks was becoming victims or subjects to a crime. But you ask me, a lot of white folks got away with it. And then, yeah, I call the black folks victims. But I didn't know that white folks was getting arrested to the tune of 51,000 arrests in 2019 alone. That was before PPE was even given out. Shit. Who's committing the most crime? Embezzlement. Oh, Lord. Now, that's about even. Like, 3,500 for blacks, 5,900 for whites. Okay. Stolen property. Buying and receiving possession. 21,000 for blacks, 38,000 for whites. You guys are winning. And they always say the jails is full with all these black folks and Mexicans. How? They said it was 38,000 arrests and only 21 when it came to stolen property. How are there more? I don't know. Let's keep going. Vandalism, 34,000. Hold on, wait a minute. Yeah, vandalism, 34,000 for blacks, 86,000 for white. Disgusting. Weapon and carrying, possession. Look, 45,000 for blacks, 60,000 for whites. There's 60,000 arrests for white folks carrying weapons, right? Second Amendment. Okay, where we at? Prostitution. 8,000 cases of black folks being arrested for prostitution. But 10,000 cases of white folks. Now, that could be pimping and pandering, or that could be the women on the street. I don't know. Who knows? But it's a lot more of those white cases. No, I wouldn't say a lot. Just 2,000 more. But let's keep going. Sex offenders. Oh, Lord. Except rape and prostitution. This is just sex offenders. Sex offenders. Listen. S-A. The S-A word. Sex offenders. What we got? Nigga. 5,900 cases of sex offenders that were locked up and arrested were black. 21,000 cases were white. So who is out here raping people? Committing sex crimes? Hold on, where's the Hispanics at? Sex offending, 7,000 cases. These Mexicans, they're raping our kids, our daughters. Get them out of here. 7,000 cases. Now, mind you, I'm not going to minimize. That's a lot of fucking people that were arrested for sex crimes, right? Or sexual offenses. Same with black folks. I'm not minimizing it. That's 5,900. That's 6,000 fucking arrests, right? But 21,000 arrests, and you guys don't know about this? You guys think we are the fucking most violent ones? Get the fuck out of here, man. Drug abuse violations. There's 274,000 arrests for black folks, 748,000 arrests for whites. That's a lot more. I'm just going to go through it. Gambling. 500 cases of black folks and 1,000 cases for whites. All right, a little half. Okay, offense against the family and children. Okay. Offenses against family and children. 16,000 cases for black folks. This is where CPS get involved. 38,000 for whites? Come on. Come on now, y'all. And this had nothing to do with per capita. Nothing, which I thought it did. This is actual arrests. Doesn't mean that there's 55% whites in the country and 14% black, and that's why. But no, nothing to do with it. Because there's some cases where black folks had committed more or had more arrests than whites. So the capita shit don't matter. These are actual arrests. So you could try that per capita game, but it ain't gonna work here. Liquor laws, well, 17,000 for blacks, 85,000 for whites. Oh, I missed one. Oh, driving. Oh, ow. DUI, driving under the influence. We have 90,000 cases for black folks that are driving drunk or high. That's a lot of people. But 500,000 motherfucking white people are driving under the influence? 526,000 arrests for white people driving under the influence? Come on, man. Maybe we should take y'all license, since y'all clearly don't get the idea of driving safely, right? That's what we do. We start putting seatbelts in the car to make sure everybody's safe. We start putting like little blinkers on the car to make sure everybody's safe. They know where people are going. We done changed the roads to make sure everything was about safety, right? Can we start like pulling licenses from people that don't know to fucking not drink and drive? Since y'all want to try to start up some more, let's police the black community for all these crimes. Can we police y'all and y'all driver's license? I mean, the data shows. The fuck out of here. All right, drunkenness. Well, we know that they driving drunk all the goddamn time. They walking drunk. 32,000 cases for black folks, 164,000 for whites. Disorderly conduct out there, screaming, yelling, probably flashing titties. I don't know. 64,000 for black folks, 132,000 for whites. Look like white people committing more crimes, bruh. Sorry, ain't got nothing to do with black folks. So you can sit there and try to stoke up all this hate and division if you want to. It ain't gonna work. Nor are y'all ready. I'm sorry, I don't think y'all ready for that action. Because I can sit here and hear the hate in y'all, but it's still coming out as scared. We had those white nationalists out there in Cincinnati, Ohio. As soon as them black folks came with it, they start getting scared. They start saying, oh shit, oh my God, they're coming. They're getting closer. And then if you didn't see the video when the police had met them at a school, aiding terrorists, this is cops, aiding and abetting terrorists, they masks came off and all their gear came off and them white boys was that big. Oh, they would have got their ass mopped. So yeah, I don't think they ready. They can pretend to be ready, but y'all not ready. And I'm going to keep it 100 because I'm not racist. And I know, because I have a lot of white friends. I wouldn't say a lot. But there's a lot of white folks that are on our side. And if something did pop off, we will have your folks fighting for us. But if you think the Sambos like Brandon Tatum and Jason Whitlock, they not going to be on your side. No. Sorry, but that's just what it is. So, white people, fix your crime problem. Please.